Hey everybody, it's Triple J and welcome back to another episode of Bountiful Bayou here in City Skylines. And last time, we finally connected up some rail in our city. And I think it was a really good move to do this now because in the future we are going to, dance more to this side, right? We're going to do some things in these hills potentially and make our way up here and do some different things, and there's a lot of cool landscape features on this map, and so we're going to use them to our advantage and make some really cool stuff. So I think it was really important to add this in now, so when we make connection points later we can work around them instead of having to put the rail through later. And I think we're going to really benefit from that. So it's not obviously the full piece, right? This is just a little section of this. But we're sort of creating, our rail network. We made some huge progress into a road network. And yes, it did take almost an entire episode. Well, yeah, most of the episode, but this time, I think it was worth it. I think it was really worth it. So today we are going to build out a little suburb area because these guys are having some trouble with some housing, and we do have a massive amount of demand for residential zoning. So let's get to it. I think on this side, I'm going to, since this is just going to be like a suburb sprawl, I'm going to bring just straight off of this. We are going to do a level crossing, which I know isn't always the best thing, but for our purposes, I think it's going to be all right. I'm going to do this. Okay, we're going to come out to there. Okay, and because I'm thinking about that future bike path that we talked about last time, give ourselves just a little bit more room along the water's edge. And then what I'm going to do is, man, should I put a roundabout? I'm wondering, do I need to put a roundabout in? Because I was thinking about having it be a one-way track that goes around the edge, and then through the center could be two-lane roads. And maybe that's okay. Maybe we can do that. I don't think there's going to be a lot of people living out here, but maybe we can do that. It's also, we could also just kind of do a sort of a tree type of a thing where we have this road come up. Because what I don't know is if we're going to make that jump. That's a pretty big, be a pretty long bridge for a normal, because eventually these are going to want to link up. And I could have these turn and connect up, sort of like this. Which is certainly an option. And maybe we do that and then build off of it. Yeah, so if I go, let's go for a little ride here. Let's go for a little ride. So I go something like that. And then we curve. Actually, I'm going to change about right here into not the tree lined. And I might shift that more, but I want the tree lined to be involved where we have our sprawling suburbs, and then it turns back into like a regular, less pretty avenue. So we continue the curve. Yeah, those aren't, it doesn't look that great, but let's just kind of see where we're headed here. And I didn't have a lot of plans for this. This could actually dip to the other side over here at some point. So I'm going to pull that straight out, and then maybe this is just a hard intersection right here. And I just realized something, that this is not as flat as I would like it to be. So let me flatten that out. And now I realize that this is a little bit lower, but that's going to be okay. I'll just kind of do that. Okay, so that's going to go straight through. That is going to go straight through. Boom. Okay. So that dips down to more of the water's edge, which I think is really, really nice. And so now that we have made that connection, I guess it's actually not that bad. Okay, now looking at it, I was a little concerned that there was some jaggedness with some of this, but I actually don't think it's that bad. What I might do, though, is get a proper curve on that. Yeah, sometimes you just gotta eyeball some things to get it to work. That's pretty dang close. And is that better than what it was before? I'm not sure. I don't know. Is it? That's up to you and your eye, I suppose. But yeah, okay. So something like that. That's kind of fun. So that's going to swoop. And then we can sort of build the suburbs off of this. So now that we have this like little curvy thing coming through here, I think we're going to go the route. And I kind of want to make this feel pretty, pretty secluded. But I think we're going to go the route of just a couple of swoopies. And then I'm going to do our little cul-de-sac trick here. Just 2x2x2 roundabout. On that side. And maybe this sort of... maybe that sort of goes... What if that went just straight up like that? Because, see, we might buy that tile at some point later on. So I'm going to leave that without an end on it. Because what I kind of see is we could put a roundabout right here at the end. Maybe even have like a little lookout. There could be even perhaps just a bit of a park at the end of this, that we could do. And then maybe over here, let me shape some of this to be with a little bit more of that cliffside. Yeah. And maybe over here, we have a bit more of like a normal street. Just tiny little streets. And then there's just little roundabouts at the end of these. And maybe we have some houses at the end of this and maybe we don't. Just... I definitely pass through neighborhoods like this where there's sort of a straight street off of it. Yeah, and it's very different looking, and it's kind of nice because it's sort of varied. It's a little bit different looking than the other side of the avenue. I mean, guys, the reality of this is, it's all just, these are all just ideas. None of them are right, none of them are wrong. It's all about what you want to see. and the things that pop into your head. It's really just painting a canvas. And that's the cool part about City Skylines. It's a big old canvas, and you put a city on it. And if you like how it looks, nothing else matters. Truly. Cool. Let me grab some pipe. Bring this off for 40. We'll get you that nice line. Now, of course, I don't actually need to be putting these water pipes in the water, but I'm kind of, sometimes I'm not super OCD about my water pipes, and sometimes I am. It's really hit or miss. Great. And then this is, I guess, is sort of a dead space, but you know, that exists, right? Dead space sort of around interchanges and things. Wow, look at all these people walking. Yeah, we're gonna have to probably get some public transportation here because they are walking across this huge avenue. And that's going to get even more as we put in more people here. So, you know what we should do right now is expand this out a bit. Let's get some more people living in these areas. Because we have a massive amount of demand, and truthfully, not that many people are going to be living over here. Because I think I'm just going to dot most of this. What I'm going to do is just get rid of these trees. And I'm going to put them back as we fill these in. And I'm going to kind of keep this fairly, I don't know if exclusive is the right word, but just, you know, a little bit of spread. And I don't think I'm going to put anything on the avenue itself.
Feeling kind of mellow myself today, sipping my matcha latte and dunking my cookies.
Yeah, so let's leave some gaps on this side.
Let's chase this vibe all the way to the wee hours, folks.
And then, but not on the edge there where it's so close to the water.
Those 9 to 5 hassles. Let your to-do list sit a while longer and allow yourself to enjoy the moment. Here's another track to help us slip away from the rat race and find some inner peace.
And then we're going to just kind of fill the rest of this in with, like, trees and things. There's a little bit of more room here, so I think we can get some of that in there. We'll do a little bit of commercial on the ends here. You know, doesn't have to be crazy. I'm really having trouble with this over here, but this is already filling in, which is great. That residential demand is popping back up, so we should see more over here. But the reason we're not probably getting a lot over here is because I'm assuming this is pretty far from any. Yeah, we don't really have any very good coverage on pretty much anything. Yeah, I think this would be a delightful area. Well, delightful, that's a little morbid. Well, maybe out here. Little cemetery right out here. It's a little morbid. What a delightful area for a cemetery. But you know what? Death care is important. Especially in this game. So we're going to have to use some of this for some services. And that's okay. Right? It'll be a little bit more busy because of some services here. But we need to get people moving in. So I think that is perfectly acceptable. That down. We'll pop a little police station. Maybe right next to the rail station. Makes sense to me. And then let's do a little, we'll do a little school right in there. I don't think we need a high school over here. That feels a bit much, but then we can get down some parks for them to, and then, yeah, that's going to really start to get people moving in here. Put another park right there. Now it's filling in. Very nice. Oh, and then now that we have that connection point in, we can get rid of this finally, because that's obviously not part of the roundabout experience. That was just to preserve integrity for making these connection points. And we're going to get some more hustle and bustle in here. These people are walking. Interesting. Where are you all going? As expected, we're not getting a lot of this. Them walking up and over. But I'm curious. Okay, so they're not... I had a sneaking suspicion that perhaps these weren't actually connected the way I thought they were. And so people were walking all the way around here to cross and then come back over. But no, this is a nice little strip here, though. A little stretch. And right here, I'm going to do the same thing that we did last time with the fences. While we kind of let the demand do its thing. Kind of wait for the demand to level off. Because that's one thing, too. You got to be... There's a little bit of patience involved. You got to let the game sort of, you know, sort itself out and kind of let it do its thing before you start to make, you know, rash decisions like, oh no, people aren't moving in and all that stuff. But I wouldn't worry too much about that. Just kind of let the game play, let the simulation run, see how the AI behaves, and then, you know, go from there. You got to give it a little bit of time. Excellent. Let's also make this connection point because I do think that would be a very nice addition, and we were going to get way more people probably walking over here. And I just realized that this is a bike. Oh, I think it's perfect. We had the idea of the bike trail coming down and around. I mean, this is already a bike road that stops here, but we can continue it. Yeah, no, we got some ideas. We got some ideas, fam. So I'm gonna do a walking path, and I think I'm gonna do a. Oh, that's a little big. Let me do this. Give myself a little room to play. Soften it a little bit. So I'm going to do a walking path. Like so. And then I'm also going to do the bike path. Get that started. But let me do this first. And the reason I'm using this, the original path, is because this is that, you know, the base game path. I generally like to use the Park Life path because I think it looks a little bit nicer, but there are still occasions where I use this. So I'm going to curve this because I'm going to want to, yeah, I'm going to curve that to about there. Mess with the heights on that later. And do something like that. We'll futz with the height. Let me come down and do a nice little curve to there. Okay. And then I'm just going to sort of extend the park out a bit. And, you know, I don't know if people are going to use that. We could actually make this a proper park by making it a district and doing all that sort of thing. But for now, let's just leave it as it is. I am going to use the slope tool because this doesn't look that great. So I want to kind of see what move it will do with it. And that's, yeah, it's pretty good. I'd like that to be a little higher, though. And I'd like that to be a little lower. And let me snag pillar. Raise it up. Oop, too high. There we are. And a lot of people are using that already. Yeah. That's really good. Now, people can bike on this, of course. The biking is available. Is it possible to shift that in? So we avoid the tearing there. But what I'm also going to do next to this, I want to see how close I can get without it. Oh, actually, because it's a different path, it might work pretty well. So if I go... So this is our bike trail. Okay. So you're on your bike. You're going to go to... Let me turn the guidelines. About 180. Okay. I just want to get this in. Just a little bit to see. I want to just see how this works. Because it's on the ground. That might be a little close to the water. That might be a little close to the water. So what I might do is keep it at like just around this edge. Keep it at a 3. And that's good, yeah. But that's okay. Right? And so then this will probably end up dancing around that, I think, if we buy that tile. I think that's kind of cool. Can go over the water just a bit there. That angle's okay. That's fine. I want to bring that up a bit. I'm actually okay with that slope. But yeah. Well, maybe I can bring it down a little bit. But yeah, so this is like your little crossroads, right? If you're a biker and you're on this road, you can now take the trail. I mean, it's a beautiful trail. Look at all these people walking. Yeah, I figured that might be the case. Because we were having so many people crossing over here, and now we're not getting nearly as many pedestrians on this side. And this isn't even filled in all the way yet. So that's going to be pretty amazing when that's all done. And as you can see, now that we're starting to level out, we took a little time. We did a little decorating. And now look where we're at. Much higher demand. So let's go. Let's fill in a couple more of these areas. I'm going to pop down a little bit more of the corner shop effect. And do we have all the services here? Elementary. Then we have 2 high schools, but the elementary does not cover. We might need another one. I mean, our capacity is pretty high. Generally speaking, I like that to be sort of around that yellow mark. You know, somewhere in there. So if we start getting more people in, I don't want to zone a gazillion people all at once. I think I'm going to put in a big park there. Something like that, maybe? You can kind of center it. No, I'm going to hold off. I'm going to hold off on that. See, now, yeah, we just took a huge drop, so we're going to need some more commercial at some point. But we have plenty of more space to do so. Totally okay adding in some more right there. Another little strip of that. But that's the nice thing when you can build out these big areas with road systems, and you can have the flexibility to, you know, not feel like, okay, I have to build a road and then immediately place zoning. Build out a bunch of roads, build out some systems, build out a structure, and then just slowly dab, right? Slowly dab in the necessary parts, because it might not be that you want, you know, what you want at the time you make the roads, but later on you might come up with an idea of, you know what, actually I was going to put commercial here, but maybe I should put something else. Maybe I should put a park, or maybe I should put, you know, a monument or something. So, you know, draw the roads down, make some road structures, and then you can, you know, wait on the zoning. You don't have to, this isn't a sprint, you know? City building isn't a sprint. Yeah, and eventually, and I think the reason we were waiting on this, I don't know for sure, but I would imagine the reason we're kind of waiting on this is because we want to get that tile unlocked first. And so I just saw something that may affect how this looks. This little path here. This is going to want to come straight, right? So we're going to have to probably end up moving that, because in my opinion, the park path shouldn't take the precedent over the path of the rail, right? Again, which came first? Kind of a thing. Boy, I'm really looking forward to this bike path. I think that's going to be really, really cool. Like, I've done, you know, bike systems before, but I've never sort of, like, I'm feeling like it's going to go all the way around, and I just noticed sewage issues. Now, what are we doing for sewage? I've completely forgotten. Yeah, this, yeah, yeah, this. Our industrial areas are going to need a makeover sooner than later. Definitely sooner than later. Yeah, you know, just I talked about moving all this power around. Yeah, just not really happy with all of this. But for now, I guess we have the inland. And this is just the, are these eco? Oh, these are eco. Okay. Yeah. Oh, and you also might notice that you can see like the smog and stuff and where some of the polluted areas are. Yeah, that again was an intentional change. It was not like that 2 videos ago, but that is an intentional change. And I have it under hide it, and I'm in Daylight Classic. I can change those settings so we don't see them. However, I had that checked because of our Darien City build over on Twitch. So that is why I had that intentionally. Let me go to, yeah, the Eco Inland Water. And we'll just plop another one down there. Not, okay. Don't need those two. And we'll connect it with a pipe. Oh, there is a C. Oh, wait a minute. What? Do I have... Okay. That's not exactly what I wanted to do. This is all going to have to get moved. It's a cluster, okay? This is a huge cluster. I literally plopped it right on top of another one, so... But we have anarchy on, so it's just allowing me to kind of do whatever I want. But There we go. That should solve the sewage problems over here. Excellent. Excellent, excellent. Yeah, I don't want that sliver there. But I think I want a little bit right there of commercial. And because we already have the fire station, maybe we can, you know, place a little bit more right here for our citizens. And honestly, maybe even just this whole little stretch right here. And we could always fill that in, but I'm not feeling the necessary need to do that right now. Our industrial is getting a little bit of a bump. That's because we are getting so many more people moving in now. We haven't hit a milestone in a while. We won't hit one until 13. We're slowly making our way there. But yeah, this is going to need a whole makeover. I'm not convinced. Well, we could sort of just make this a massive industrial area. It's just going to require... I don't like making really massive industrial areas just because the traffic can get so crazy. And we're also going to want to decide... I think we talked about this last time, and I don't remember what we came up with. But I think we discussed having industrial here and then running rail to like an industrial station, you know, maybe in the center of our downtown. I think we did discuss that, but anyway, my friends, I think that is going to do it for this episode. It doesn't feel like we're getting a lot done in each episode. I have to be honest with you, but we are making strides. We are getting closer. We're doing some fun, sort of more decorative things for our city, and establishing some, you know, walking paths, bike paths. We put in some more citizens. We're starting to slowly fill this in, which is really going to be nice. Our neighborhoods are starting to come alive, but we're going to need a lot more of that in the next episode. And yeah, we'll continue building. I think next time there's a good chance that we can hit that 13,000. I don't know. We'll have to see. But everybody, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing you in the next episode of Bountiful Bayou here in City Skylines. Bye, everybody.